Evening, folks. Welcome back to the Leeds View for the match review of Leeds United's on the road win against Wolverhampton Wanderers. 3-1 for Leeds in a very strange game, I think, personally. And I can already see us disagreeing on lots of things today, but we'll get into it and we'll talk about it. Plenty of comments coming in there as well in the description. Joe was saying there, I did want to just leave you when you said you realised, Jer, but yeah, that's okay. All good. All good. No, we're all good, mate. Thanks, mate. I do need to switch that off, though, don't I? I do. There we go. It's off. Thanks, mate. Yeah, so an interesting match. I don't know what everyone makes of it. I think the scoreline and the points on the road, I suppose, make up for any other issues that might be there, I suppose. But convincing PBDS saying convincing win. Prediction convincing in terms of result. Performance, I'm not so sure. I'm going to get into that in more detail. In the second half, I thought we just conceded so much of unnecessary space and invited so much pressure onto ourselves that we just didn't need to. But yeah, in the end, I suppose it's 3-0. Wolves were atrocious and yet dominated the second half of the game and just kept putting balls in on top of us. But I agree with you, Barry. I didn't think that they were great, but they did manage to put shots in on top of us. Shame about Bogle. Yeah, we'll see how bad that injury is. It looks like a player comes down on his foot, and we'll see if that's made any impact. If Darlow hadn't made those saves, a completely different game we're talking about. If Carl Darlow doesn't have the second half he has, most of them are easy enough saves to make. The one that he puts over the crossbar that he gets away with isn't given as a corner was a fantastic save. I'm prepared to win ugly. Yeah, and I get that. But I think for me, I feel that it wasn't a case that we had to win ugly. I think there was a decision made there. I think we decided to sit back in the second half and not come out. Yeah, Darlow, absolutely outstanding. But that to me is the bit that bothers me. Can't moan about that. I think you can a little bit. I probably am going to moan a little bit about it. But you can't argue with the scoreline. You can't argue. I get that. I get all of that. And I do understand that. Thought we bossed the first half. I thought we bossed the first half after. I wrote my notes down here. When did we score in the first half? 31 minutes we scored. I thought we bossed the first half from the 22nd minute on. But up until 22nd minute, I didn't think we were doing a whole lot. And we'll go through that in a bit more detail. But it was, I suppose, it's always hard to criticize a performance when you get 3 points on the road. And it is. They haven't won a game all season. They haven't. We went 1-0 down to them. Funnily enough, we've gone 1-0 down against them in the last 4 meetings against them. And each time we've managed to come back. So that is good. A 6-point game early in the season. Yeah, and you take the win. I get all of that. Does Darlow stay in net if he plays like that against Bournemouth and Spurs going to international break? I think it's very hard to take him out of net. He was very, very good today. Watching this certainly is no Bielsa ball. It wasn't. Second half was, and again, we'll talk about that. I'd like to know your thoughts on this because I have mine and I'll give them, but I want to give everybody a chance to give their opinion on this as well. In the second half, do you view that as Leeds defending very well? Or do you view that as Leeds came out in the second half and decided to park the bus? Because there was no pressure on their backline at any real point in the second half. We never really pressed them. Okafor nearly makes a chance for himself, and we'll get to that. And it's a lovely square ball, and there's nobody there. There was issues there with that for me. And the goals we got, we took them well. Anton Stack scoring for a beautiful free kick. It is on the goalkeeper's side, and I think if that's your goalkeeper, you probably say should do better. No, Okafor gets his first goal, the third one. Lovely goal across the box. Finished. DCL's headers, brilliant, fantastic header. Very little pace on the ball delivered by Bogle. Clipped into a lovely area. We've got to generate that himself, but I will take that. Ayub is saying we parked the bus in the second half for sure. Will be good use for now to see we scored some goals. We've scored some plays. Well, Wolves had 16 shots and 6 on target. We had 6 shots and 4 on target. So, yeah, Brendan should be given all of his flowers today. Put in a shift. He really did. There's still a lack of quality there, and that is still a very valid criticism of Brendan. But you cannot criticize that man's work rate today. He ran himself into the absolute ground. Okafor and DCL tired a bit. You'd expect that from them trying to get up to speed. Wolves seemed refreshed, and we reverted to keep it safe. It feels so good to scream at a TV and celebrate some goals. The win was needed. It was. Second half, I feel DCL wasn't able to win. I think he was isolated, though, Geno. I think he was very, very isolated. I mean, he was feeding off scraps. I didn't like that. Aronson looked out on his feet at the 60 minutes, but he kept going. He kept running. And he kept doing the work. And I'm great to see that from him as well. Jason, how you doing, mate? I think it was park the bus to protect the game. Did we do it too early? Did we defend too early in games? Because against Fulham, we dropped to 20 minutes to go. And for me, that was a mistake and it cost us. Stack is an absolute animal. We'll talk about Stack as well, because I think outside of the goal and the assist, passing wasn't great. But again, we'll get into all that in a couple of seconds. I'll tell you what, we'll start off. Just Joe stating Stack's free kick was like a postage stamp on a delivery, so he's now called Postman Stack. It went into the goalkeeper's side, and if you watch that from the front of it, the keeper's standing there, but the players in front do a very good job of shielding his view from it, and then it flies in the top corner, but he hit it. God, he hit it with power, didn't he? He really, really whacked it, but great to see. I'd be interested in Joe's take on the second half, actually, because I think me and Joe will see this very, very differently. I think Joe will be delighted with that. I'm not so much, but yeah, I'll talk to Joe during the week and we'll see how we get on. But let's talk about the first half specifically, right? First 13 minutes, and the way I kind of looked at this, in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, for me, from a Leeds perspective, it was pedestrian. The passing was sloppy. There was very little movement off the ball. People looking forward to get involved in it. We saw Ethan Ampadu revert back to Champo. Ethan Ampadu, who was pointing at players to do things rather than getting the ball. Joe Roland has a bark at him at one point in the first half to get out of his way and look for the ball. And then all of a sudden, Ampadu comes back in. Maybe just needed to be told, we need you to get out of our way. We can't get out. That was possibly it. Well, he realizes it. But yeah, pedestrian, a lot of walking, no movement off the ball, no press at all. And that's the first 20 minutes of the game. And I was worried. And then they score. And if you look at it, Gabby Goodmunson does really, really well from a Leeds perspective. Gets into the penalty areas, lovely 1-2, gets in behind, possibly could shoot himself, but tries to square the ball for what would be a tap into an open goal. And there's nobody there. Leeds not committing bodies forward, didn't have anybody there. And I'm not gonna ignore the good stuff because we won a game 3-1, or the bad stuff because we won the game 3-1. It's important that we focus on the stuff we didn't do well, because against better sides that will come back to haunt us. So it's important that we talk about the good and the bad, and we'll do both. But they break from that straight away. Both Leeds centre-backs get dragged to the left-hand side, which creates a space. And Sean Longstaff is tracking the goal scorer the whole way. And just as he gets to the penalty area, Longstaff starts to get dragged towards the ball, which creates space for a ball around the outside, and it's tapped into an empty net. Well, not an empty net, but a one-on-one with Carl Darlow. He's no chance to save from there. So it's a tough one. Thanks for the super chat, Robert. Great commentary and big up. They heard you. Thanks, man. Yeah, we do a watch along over on bigup.com every week as well. So if you want to come over and check that out, you can as well if you want to. But yeah, we've transitioned across. But that's where the first goal comes from. And I think just wakes Leeds up a little bit. All of a sudden, Leeds start to move the ball a bit quicker. Leeds start to get into their rhythm, into their tempo. They start trying to push the ball forward. And then in the 31st minute, Jayden Bogle picks the ball up deep on the right-hand side. And we talked about this a lot during the week, about changing the point of attack, that we can't always be coming inside all the time if we've got big 6-foot strikers. Let's try and get balls into the box. And Bogle flights a beautiful cross, bending away from the keeper. Again, not a huge amount of power on it, just placement into a good area. And DCL has to generate all the power on that, bend himself backwards and flick it over Sa into the top corner, which is just over there, by the way. That's where the top corner is. Just flicks it into the top corner and gives Leeds the league, gets Leeds back in the game, levels the game. But he needed that. 2 games in, 2 starts in, he needed a goal. He gets his first goal for Leeds. Monkey's off the back now. Very, very good. Then Leeds get a free kick. Again, good work in the build-up. Ball play from, I think it's Okafor into DCL, or out to the right-hand side to Aronson into DCL. And he turns real quick, takes the foul, goes down, hits the deck, free kick. And then Leeds very cleverly roll the ball back a couple of yards. Joe Blackburn very cleverly spotted this on Big Up earlier on today. Leeds didn't take it from the D where the free kick happened. They brought it back a couple of yards to give themselves that space to whip the ball around. And Anton Stack goes keeper's side. So again, if that was your goalkeeper, you're saying he should be saving that. But he doesn't, because the players, Leeds get in the way, blocks his view, and it's smashed into that corner. Lovely free kick from Anton Stack. Great work. Goal. And then the 45th, Leeds just kept going. Leeds kept at them. Wolves couldn't get out. Leeds are playing really good football. We're getting in behind them. We're causing them problems. And then the ball, they try and play out from the back. And this is where the front press and where Leeds defend very well from an attacking position for me. And what they did very well against Fulham for 70 minutes, what they did very well against Everton and Newcastle, defended high and stopped them from playing out. And as the ball is passed out, Anton Stack wins it, plays the ball through for Noah Okafor. He takes a touch into the penalty area and then puts it across the goalkeeper in the bottom right-hand corner. Lovely finish by Noah Okafor, and great again for him to get off the mark. And you've got Anton Stack then with a goal and an assist, which gives him a decent rating today. But it should be said, for most of the game, Anton Stack's passing was a problem. It wasn't good. It was sloppy. It was behind people. He kicked a few straight out of play. And I know he's finding the level of the Premier League and the speed, and that will take time. That will still take him games to get up to that. And in the meantime, if he's chipping in with an assist and a goal, fine. No problem at all. But it is still an issue that needs to be looked at. The midfield today, we're not at their midfield best against the worst side in the Premier League. And they are the worst side in the Premier League. We didn't see the aggressive press from the three in the middle. We didn't see them getting tight to players and limiting space. We saw the more reactive approach where they were waiting on a player to get a ball before they pushed on. But yeah, and Neil's probably on the bang on the head here. Stack is class, maybe just an off day. And I think it was an off day. His passing wasn't great. Sean Longstaff wasn't great today either. Again, works hard off the ball, but in possession, gave it away a fair bit, was a bit sloppy. Yeah. Paul Brody, Lord Sheagrat, how you doing, mate? Defending far too deep in the second half. Thank you, Carl Darlow, for man the match. I've retired Lord Sheagrat on YouTube, by the way. I did. The picture gives it away, but I know you are. But I got you, mate. Thanks for that, Paul. Appreciate that. DCL looked what he is, a Prem striker. Great shift today as well. I think we had a few out there carrying knocks, maybe. Sensible football in the second half. Well done, Leeds. Had to break down. Well, the shots would tell you that we weren't hard to break down. The quality of their shots is the question mark. But they got shots on goal. They got headers and they got free crosses into the box. The question at half-time was going to be, what do Leeds do in the second half? Will Leeds come out in the second half and play exactly as they finished the first half, get in Wolves' faces, push them back, go for more goals, maybe get to that number 4 so he can bring Harry Gray on, as he said himself he'd like to do? I would have liked to see Tanaka come on a lot earlier than he did, but Leeds didn't. And for me, there's a very clear decision made by Leeds to park the bus in the second half and sit into a low block, and they did. They sat in a low block for a large part, tried to catch them every now and then on the counter-attack, but then there were moments when the ball did break forward that the Leeds team didn't budge from their own half. They didn't try and get out, which invites pressure, invites chances, invites deliveries, invites passes into your area, and that's what was happening repeatedly. And for me, Leeds invited unnecessary amounts of pressure in the second half. And yes, Wolves needed to come at Leeds, and some will argue that Leeds, maybe Wolves pushed Leeds back. I don't think they did. I think we decided to sit in. And I'm not a huge fan of that, personally. Especially when you look at, again, Leeds against Everton, Leeds against Newcastle, Leeds for 70 minutes against Fulham. Defending high up the pitch, limiting space, not letting them play, minimizing their attacking options, and keeping the ball up there. And then Leeds can do their stuff when they win it back. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin was absolutely working off scraps today. Paul is saying, great performance. We will not dominate a full game all season. To expect us is unrealistic. Okay. If we can defend, if we get in front, we defend. That's how we survive. I would argue not against every team, mate. I would argue against some teams, you've got to be a bit more ballsy. You've got to back yourself, especially when we did have a go at them. We cut them open pretty easily. When you're playing against lesser sides, you've got to be brave. You've got to go at teams. You can't just sit back and defend every single game of this season. It'll go against you more often than it won't. So they've got to be careful there. So, yeah, but that free kick was something special. All right, it was. Yeah, it was great. Agree. We need to talk about what we got wrong. We'll come unstuck against the better sides. Even two up. I mean, even at that, like you're 3-1 up. If they score from one of those crosses, all of a sudden there's a panic. And I used to always say to people, and I've heard it said in football as well, once you take the pressure off or the foot off the gas, it can be very hard to put it back on again when you need to. So when you can go and finish the game, go and finish the game. Maybe Farke was reacting to the lack of domination in the midfield by playing more defensively. That's possible as well. I'm sure he'll give us his own insights onto it, but it's a good shout, Midgie. I wouldn't disagree. Agree, it's not our way. We're better when we press. I just think Leeds are a better side on the front foot. And I know we can't do it against every side. And that's, again, it is unrealistic to think that. I accept that. But I do think that in this particular game, we were far better pressing them high. We won the ball back from pressing them high and scored. You know, great result shows character coming from behind. Let's not get carried away. It's just one game at a time. It is 100% absolutely been important to get points when you can. And that was important. Again, as Sam was saying there, a good 6-pointer. West Ham lost as well. Get the gaps while you can. I get it, but we need to enjoy. Oh, absolutely. Come here, Paul. No argument at all. I will absolutely enjoy this. But this is a match review. This is not me. This is not Jer celebrates for 15 minutes. Right. So there's a bit in this. I do want to look at the game properly. And I do want to look at the game on both sides. I don't want to just sit here and go, Leeds 1-3-1, fantastic work, great stuff. And then in 2 weeks' time to start talking about the cracks that were there a few weeks ago and we didn't do anything about it. So that's where my head's at. It's minimizing risk, making sure that we had defensive overloads. Smart finish by Farke. Again, look at the amount of shots we conceded and on goal. That's not minimizing risk. That's inviting risk. Minimizing risk is stopping balls going into your penalty area. And maybe that's all that's wrong here. And Noose. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. Maybe that's all that's missing here. Had Leeds fullbacks got out and cut the crosses out, then the balls don't go into the penalty area. But for me, there was far too many crosses being allowed into the penalty area. That's where I see it. Neil, totally agree, Jer. We had a foot on their throats and we didn't make it pay. But an away win is good in the Premier League. It absolutely is, and we can't complain about that. We are a better pressing side. We invited them on like Fulham game. Squeaky bum time defended from the front, please. Fair. That's absolutely, and again, to you, fair as well. Lee, Wolves had better players. I disagree completely, Lee. I don't believe Wolves have got a good team at all. There's so much being made of Strand Larson, but yet nothing he does backs up that stuff between last year and this year. I don't agree. And I don't expect us, by the way, but I do agree on this point here. We can't expect to dominate. No, we can't. But I'd like us to do more than 20 minutes in a game, especially when you've scored 3. That's my point. But I do take some of what you're saying. Learn to enjoy the moments. Yeah, we will. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going downstairs and having a beer and I'm chilling out for the evening. I'm going to enjoy this. I might even watch it back with no pressure the second time round. Leeds are better on the front foot because Wolves have an attack that's been home. The home fans were not happy. 5 defeats, Jer. Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Thanks for the stream. No problem at all, Jamie. Joining late, but a great result. I'm buzzing for the rest of the weekend. We missed me criticizing the performance, but we'll take the result. And they are separate and they can live. Both of these two things can live independently of each other. A very good result and probably not a brilliant performance, but they can both coexist in the same space. Listen to the game while digging the garden kept me going for a good pace. Do I have to dig the garden? You do, Paul. I'm sorry, mate, but that's happened now. Wolves do a better play. I don't know. We'll find it by the end of the season, but they've lost 5 games this season now. 3 at home. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. That's possible. Very possible. And if I am, hands up. Mark is saying the fact that Darlow is probably man of the match shows. That's where my head's at. But if we press up and get caught, that's true. Now, this is what Leeds have done so well this season. Leeds have pressed with their striker and their 2 wingers pressing high and have allowed 1 midfielder to press on, and then the other 2 central midfielders and defensive 4 have stayed put. And that limits you getting caught on a counter-attack. You let them do the pressing and defend from the front, which is why Aronson is in there. And he was very good today, by the way, Brendan. Very, very good. But yeah, I do get that as well. But you can't always be risk averse. You can't always be afraid of getting caught. Sometimes you've got to back yourself and look at your players and go, we play better football. We can score more goals. We can get at these. And that's where my head's at. We looked a little bit out of shape after the subs, sitting back a bit too deep. That kind of, we can invite teams on. We do invite teams on. Enjoy the beers. I will, mate. I can't wait. Glowing review from Pat Murphy on 5 Live. Compact Leeds may not struggle. Well, yeah. Thanks, Ray. They were compact. It was a low block, and it was a good low block. It was a very good low block. We didn't concede any goals after the mistake in the first half, so we'll take that. I enjoyed the game far better than previous games. Can see more player relationships building. They will, and they'll continue to get better over time. I'm going to watch the Wolves tier. That's always a bonus. It is, yeah. Wolves man just on 3. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? First decent cross in 4 games. Yeah. Stopping risk is not conceding goals. They make every Leeds fan weekend. Okay. Stack was great for me. Really hit. Okay. I didn't think he was great. I thought his goal was very good and his assist was very good. Outside of that, I thought his passing was sloppy. Better having things to work on. Absolutely it is. Being able to do that. Shout out to Carl Darlow. Outstanding. We'll go through the players now in a sec. Great result. Perry will have to wait now. He will, absolutely. This weekend is going to be fine. Glass in hand now. About to watch Chelsea. Hoping we can keep Man U below us after week 5. Yeah, there's loads of chats. I'm not going to get through everyone, but I really appreciate that. Tony Aronson, the weak link, but you know what? No one else to play there. You've got to give him credit for the work he does defensively and the work rate he does on that side of the pitch. He worked his socks off today. And any player wearing a Leeds United shirt that works hard for that side, I'll never criticize. So we'll have to see. Who was my man of the match? I would toss a coin between Gabby Goodmunson and Carl Darlow. I think for the amount of saves Darlow made 2 very, very good saves. Very good saves, and then did everything else he's supposed to do. Caught the ball well from crosses, punched it well. That's for me. Gabby Goodmunson, probably our most on the front foot player, which is good. James Justin, when he came on, got out and cut out some crosses, which is nice to see as well. We'll go through the team. Carl Darlow, yeah, look, very, very good performance from Carl. Did the things he's supposed to do and did them very well in terms of catching crosses, punching balls, taking the pressure off us at times. His kicking was good as well. Does that very well. And then he makes 2 or 3 very big saves. A double save at one point as well. And he palms the ball into the right areas as well. So very, very good game by Carl Darlow. For me, man of the match. Stack man of the match. All right. I wouldn't have had him near it, but okay. That's your opinion, Michael. You're completely entitled to that. Interesting opinion, though. Can you tell me why you'd give him man of the match? Don't just say goal and assist. But I am interested to know why, and I won't say you're wrong. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Then go to Jayden Bogle, quieter by his standards today, but Leeds didn't really attack an awful lot down that side. First half, very, very good. In the second half, he got in himself. Stack and DCL got in each other's way. We could have had a fourth at that point. LUTV gave it to DCL for what? The goal? Ampadu man the match for me. Leadership, we missed when he's not there. I agree. The leadership is definitely missed when we're not there. Love the way that GG sees space and accelerates in it before finding a pass. Stack had me pulling my hair out. Yeah, but this is the point. Everyone's opinion is welcome. We're allowed to have conversations about things. So if you've got a different opinion, tell me why, and let's have a chat about it. Let's do that. Yeah, Bogle didn't have a whole lot to do, but lovely cross for the goal. Possibly could have got a goal in the second half of the ball being released a bit earlier for him. But outside that, pretty decent. Michael, great. Not just Stack's goals here, but assist and his work rate. Okay, work rate's fair enough. He does work hard, and he ran out of steam towards the end. That shows he's working hard. So, yeah, okay, that's fine. Everyone gives 120%. They played with belief. Everyone was locked. Yeah, they were out on their feet towards the end. Okafor will improve for more matches, but we're starting to see bits of it. Freeze the league table right now. Absolutely. Paul says it's a great win against one of the teams in our mini league. The big 3 points. Huge win in the grand scheme of things. Thanks, Jer. FOTMob gives Stack man the match. They would. FOTMob, all live score, FOTMob, sofa score are algorithm based. So they don't look at the game. Goals and assists rate higher than anything else. So I wouldn't read into that too much. Yeah, so yeah, that's Bogle. Golf nut, Bogle carrying a bit of a knock, didn't look 100%, but still, yeah, I think he might miss the next game as well, looking the way he was carried off or taken off. Can you show the table, please? I can. I'll get your table up now. Give me 1 second. That's all bask in the league table for a minute. Standings. Excuse the adverts on the screen, by the way, but we'll get on as much as we can. I'll just position it right here so we get the ads out of the way. There. Okay. You want to see the screen? Let me get this out of the way then. Okay, here is the league table, and I'll turn off the overlay so we can see it properly. There you go. Actually, do you know what? I'll just do this. That works out even better. Great, there we go. There's a league table. Gabby Goodmunson, yeah, good. Pascal Strouk, Joe Rodon, not a huge amount to do. Defended well, won their headers. Fine for me. Solid games. Ethan Ampadu, probably better second half in terms of positioning. Passing was sloppy in the first half, but again, does an awful lot of the work that goes unseen. Covering ground, blocking passing lanes, the Ilya Groove stuff that you get stick for. That kind of stuff done very, very well. Stack, great goal, great assist. Thanks for refreshing on me for no apparent reason. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Stack gets a goal, gets an assist, both very, very good. Thought his passing was sloppy, but a solid game from him in midfield. Worked hard. Sean Longstaff worked his socks off. Not a huge amount of quality from Longstaff today either. Wasn't in the game as much. Maybe that says an awful lot about how the midfield was set up today. Okafor, some nice moments. Gets his goal. I think we'll see more from him. I would have left him on the pitch. I would like to see him get more minutes and get that in his legs as soon as possible. But the changes were made. DCL, very good, solid number 9 work from him. Winning flick-ons, trying to hold the ball up. Probably doesn't hold the ball up as well as Mecha does, but definitely has more in and around the penalty area at this point anyway. Brendan Aronson, solid, works his socks off, ran himself into the ground, did what he needed to do, but there isn't an end product there from Brendan in the Premier League, and that's probably an issue for Leeds. But as has been said, while he's in there, what are we looking for him to do? Work hard. Press in the front. Does that really, really well. So yeah, there you go. That's where we are, folks, with the whole thing. There's your league table. Sam, I'm going to take it off now, if that's okay with you. We'll go through the last sets of comments and then we'll wrap up. I won't keep us here all evening. Chelsea keeper got a red card. Okay. No matter how you look at it, it's the 100% nipper. And if we were to do a review in 30 seconds, that would be the review. 9th in the table, which is great. Darlow really taking his chance. He absolutely is. And everyone who gets that chance has to take it. I think you can argue they are. Pascal Stroke as well. I mean, for me, the goal's a mistake. It's a defensive error to get pulled out of position too much and Longstaff doesn't track a runner. Outside of that, defense does its job. And again, another solid defensive performance by them. So they're all taking their opportunities right now while they're getting them. A right wing miss, James and Nanto. I completely agree there. And this could have been a really good game for James to be that outlet for us going forward. There's a positive vibe around the whole team. New lads bonding well and established lads. Yep. Now then, Jared just joined. Gigi man the match for me. Good to hear it, folksy. Was wrong on Ampadu not making the step up to the Prem. Okay. I do think he's a Premier League player, as I do think a lot of them are. Tanaka as well, but it will take some time. There's a player in Stack still 100%. I think Anton Stack is going to be one of the signings of the season for Leeds. I'm not being critical of him. I'm just from a performance perspective talking today about I thought his passing was sloppy at times. Behind players, out of play. That was it. Sheffield United lost again. Ooh. Even with the Messiah back. Goal difference, not too bad now. You're clawing it back, aren't we? Chelsea down to 10 men. Good months of my man the match. Hard to believe we actually signed a competent left back up and down. Carl Darlow man the match for me. Number one keeper for me. Thought they were both very, very good. As I say, you could toss a coin between the two of them. Thought they're both excellent. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, guys. Win helps. Does. DCL player, our team needs to find what Bogle did. Okafor needs to stay on his feet a bit more. Yeah, I would agree with that. Same with Brendan. May Farke will never drop Darlow. Well, maybe he won't. And maybe he doesn't need to, Telly. Maybe he doesn't need to. Get yourself well deserved point. I will. Thanks, mate. It's fine by me. Cheers, buddy. Same time next week. Yeah, we'll do it all again. Hopefully we're talking about a positive result against Bournemouth at home next week. Aronson is here and we've got no option but to work with what we've got. As long as he keeps working hard, there's no issue. Nailed it. Nail on the head. Over 400 watching. Smash the like button. If you could smash the like button. It's been a really shitty week from a YouTube perspective. The new algorithm change is killing everybody. Everyone's views are way down. I've gone looking for a job because I've halved my views. So if you could like the video, that would be really, really cool. I appreciate that. Jared, thanks for just remember to hit the like button. Thank you. Appreciate that. Roger Dempsey, Okafor interviewed on BBC and said more to come from the team. Really enjoying the vibe. Yeah, there is a good vibe there and there is more to come. Hopefully Bogle is okay. Same as Robert. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Jared. Love the work. Appreciate it. And the shirt, the classics. Yeah, got the classics out for today. We'll be watching the Bournemouth game from Spain. Oh, enjoy that. Enjoy that. And the wind blew Aronson over. He fell over one time on his own. He got the ball cut inside. I think he thought there was someone behind him and he just went down. And there was nobody near him, but there you go. Thanks to everybody. Yeah, really appreciate everyone watching today. Hyped and like. You can hype this video if you're watching it on demand. There's a hype button. You can press that. It helps as well, apparently. We have a few players who need to wait to get their chances again. Bial and Perry when fit. That's good. That's a competitive squad and we need that. That's it. Yeah, smash the likes. Great stuff, folks. Lappers. Appreciate that. Great stream. Thanks to everyone for watching this week. For anyone who's watched all the content this week, really appreciate it because it's getting tough to keep this going right now. It really is, but I really, really appreciate it. There's a lot of people doing the same thing I'm doing now, which makes it harder for me to keep doing this as it is. YouTube's algorithms made it much tougher this week as well. So yeah, as I say, I'm looking for a job now because I might have to get out of this, but we'll have to wait and see. But if you can smash the like and any of the content you watch this week, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll be back on Monday morning for the news. We'll have the pod during the week to review the game in more detail. Outside of that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great weekend. Leeds have picked up 3 points. They are 7th in the table, 4 points above the relegation zone, 7 points clear of bottom of the table, Wolverhampton Wanderers, 5 clear of Aston Villa, 4 clear of West Ham United. So very, very positive day all in. Don't mind my little critiques on things as being negative. It's not negative. Very, very happy with these 3 points. Very happy that we've gotten away win against a side that we have to be targeting at taking points again this season. More to come. 2 big home games coming up. Bournemouth won't be easy. On a good run of form. Currently 6th in the table. 3 wins on the bounce for Areola there. And Spurs as well, who are currently 2nd in the Premier League. So those games won't be easy either. Archie Gray return and a Tyler Adams return to Leeds United coming up in the next 2 weeks. Both of them will be very different receptions at Ellen Road for them. But thank you very much to everyone that supported us this week. I'm back Monday morning for the news and then Monday night for the review. Outside that, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Enjoy this. See ya. Bye.